Hey guys, I'm here at Adepticon 2017 looking at this game called Wreck Age. I'm here with Matt. Matt, thank you so much for joining me here.
Yeah, pleasure.
Tell me, we saw you last year and we saw Wreck Age. We're coming back, we wanted to see a demo of this game. Tell us about the history of the entire kind of universe. How'd this come together?
So Wreck Age is set in the resurgence after the collapse of civilization. So it's a pollution event. A lot of people leave the planet, and then the people that are left behind have scant resources. But it's now getting better. So like a group over here, like our stakers, like my team on defense here, they're figuring out things like crop rotation, irrigation, and like they're building their own stuff.
Okay.
Like they've got and a lot of things have changed. Like one of the main livestock's like capybara and stuff like that.
Cool.
So there's a big difference in like the actual food chain. The drifters on your side of either by necessity or design, they steal and they pillage. They're reaver type guys. So we have some more science fiction type stuff because I said it is a couple hundred years in the future before the collapse. But this, for the demo's sake, it's usually pretty low tech.
Right.
Explodey.
So is this a skirmish game? Is it a role playing type game?
Yeah. So we've got the skirmish rules, which were at Adepticon is the reason for the season. That's why we're here. We do have some RPG stuff too. So yeah, on our site we have a 46-page rule primer that's free. Free PDF. That's rec-age.net if you want to play the skirmish stuff and jump in.
Cool.
And it is skirmish, so at the end of a campaign, you've got depending on what faction they are, because some of them, there's resource units that you use as points basically. You go in between 5 to 7 minis a side. It's not a huge buy-in. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. But then there is the campaign mode as well, right? Mm-hmm. You say you have the role-playing built around this?
And if for larger campaign stuff now too, we have the vehicles, which we're launching on Kickstarter right now. Just about to fund. So
what's the history of the inception of the game? You had a Kickstarter. When did the Kickstarter go live last time?
The one Kickstarter we did 4 years ago. So the company is me and my friend Anton. We've been friends for 15 years, and he was out in 6 or 7 years ago. He had moved away. He was in Texas at the time, and we were keeping in touch by talking about game stuff. So he's like, "Oh, I've been working on this rule set," and I was like, "Well, I've been working on this world," and we then he moved back to Chicago and we got it going. Yeah. So that's and it's very DIY.
I see. So he's the rules guy, and you're the story guy.
Yeah. We work off of each other with that. But, and like you were talking about, there's a role-playing aspect too. There is. We don't do any role-playing stuff at Adepticon because, it's kind of strange. This place is kind of branching out. There is more board games and stuff, but I don't think there's going to be too many D20s thrown around.
It's really a tabletop miniature, skirmish type thing. So let's dive into the skirmish mode at least. Let's talk about what kind of mechanics are we going to be experiencing in the game?
So it's D6 based, and it's... this is going to be the most amount of dice you roll.
Nice.
So what you're trying to do, and I usually explain rules when we encounter them in the demo.
Cool.
So what your objective is, and this is Break Down the Walls is the name of this scenario. It's a 3-parter. We do the first one for the demo. You're trying to get those boars, which are laden with explosives, up to this fence and blow it up.
Cool.
And then after that, we would be whoever, if you're successful, it makes it easier in the second phase. So it's kind of a move and shoot scenario for the most part. All right, so the first thing, you'll see your stat lines here. The first stat's action points. Action points are what you can do with your activation. It's a you go, I go. So the first thing we do is a wits check to see who goes first.
Okay.
So your highest wit should be 2. So you roll 2 dice. We're just trying to get a higher number here. I have a 3. My guys are a little smarter.
Yeah, you got steak.
So I got a 5. It beats your 3. I'm going to just allow you to go first at the coin toss here.
Okay, cool.
So action points, so there's movement. So you can move it's up to 4 inches for a boar or 3 inches for a human. You can add a die by doing 2 AP then, and that's to run, or you can sprint, which is 2 dice, and that's all of your action points. The caveat to that is most people can't sprint 2 turns in a row, but the boars can because of a trait they have.
Makes sense. So they might want to sprint towards this wall.
Yeah.
So we have cover here. I'm guessing that it's good to keep things behind that as I approach, right?
It is true line of sight, kind of saves a lot of arguments that way.
Yeah.
And gives you some more fun when you're building terrain. Everything we have on here is stuff that we made and sell, this is all resin stuff. Ironheart Artisan does for us, so.
Wicked.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say I want to move one of these boars up. How would that look?
So you can either move it 4 inches, you can run by adding a die, that's 2 AP, or you can sprint and use 2 dice and then move up to that. And it's 4 plus the 2 dice.
Okay.
So
let's
you may have noticed I was trying to lean towards sprinting. Is probably what you want to do.
Let's sprint.
So you'll do a guy, and then I'll do a guy, and we'll go back and forth.
Let's start with a sprint.
All right. 2 dice.
2 dice. Roll these guys.
All right, so you can move up to 10 inches.
Okay.
So if you had hit that 11-inch sweet spot, he'd be fast moving, but unfortunately not.
All right, dude.
Not the greatest roll.
So we've got a move of 4 plus 6,
Yep.
right? So we got 10 inches. And man,
Yeah, it's cover.
there's 7. Now, do I want to keep going is the question, right? How exposed am I ultimately going to be out here?
You're not exposed at all right now, which is good. But if you were to go outside of that, I'm going to see you with either one of these guys. So she has a rifle that can pretty much hit anything on the board. So cover.
All right,
is
so
the concern.
we'll hang out right here. We'll put the boar back behind the wall. Smart boar.
Yeah, and I'm going to do. I'm actually going to be really conservative here. I'm going to do a hold action on her. So what that's going to mean is I'm going to. So she's just going to conserve an AP, and next turn I'll have an extra one.
Okay,
You
I
can't
see.
do more than that, the one, but next turn I'll maybe be able to shoot twice. If
So you
necessary.
basically get to kind of pass the action.
Yep.
And then you get rewarded next turn.
And
for,
she has a trait called Concentrated Fire, which means I can shoot twice if I have the AP. So it's 2 AP to do a regular shot, or 3 AP to do an aimed shot.
Nice.
So which lowers the target number you're going for.
So your sniper's hanging out, waiting for an opening, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna lay it down.
I'm going to shoot whichever boar is closer to me.
All right, so that was 2 AP to sprint, right?
Yep.
To me,
Oh,
that-
3 AP. That was all of his
That's
AP.
the whole thing. Okay.
So now you're up to, you can activate another guy.
Okay. Well, let's activate this boar.
Not a bad
it.
idea there.
Do
All
the
right.
same
more?
thing, yeah. Let's sprint up.
Another 10.
All right, 10.
Let's hope the dice are like this for you the entire time.
All right, so we can get there, no problem.
Yeah, you're fine. So I'm going to move this guy. I'm just going to do a regular move and then do up to 3 inches, so I'm only moving like 2. I'm going to do a hold action for him as well. And then now it's your beast handler. So when you want to do the explosives, it's a free activation for him.
Okay.
And it's 2 plus a d6, so of the actual range. And it is kind of a janky radio, so you're going to roll all or nothing for both boars, and they explode on a 4, 5, or 6.
Oh.
And then you get the radius and stuff like that.
So you guys can run them up, and then hopefully they explode correctly.
Yeah, and if your beast handler is within that 8-inch sphere, he has to do what's called a nerves check to see if he'll even do that. 'cause,
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he doesn't want to maybe sacrifice himself.
Yeah, no way. Okay, so I've activated this boar and sprinted, activated this boar and sprinted.
So
now
it's him, and then we're gonna roll for the hold. So you go
activate the
first
beast
again.
handler.
Yep.
Okay, and so I'm looking at this composition of the 2 boars. This is their stat line, and then the beast handler with radio transmitted. This is
Yep.
his stat line. So he also gets 3 AP and a 3 of move.
Yeah, so you can have more than 3 AP, but for this is kind of like a move and shoot,
Yeah.
tutorial. So
Well, let's. So I can plug. You said 2 AP to get an extra die to the movement.
Yep.
Or all the AP to sprint.
yep.
Let's sprint him up too.
Yeah, and drifters do a lot of sprinting. So
Yeah, they've got to get up there and
yeah.
be weird.
All right,
That's
so he's
8.
gonna move.
That's 11 if he
11.
wants.
Yeah, so he'll be fast moving.
What does that mean for me?
So it's gonna be harder to shoot him, which is nice. So cover is still maybe something you want to get behind.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it was gonna be a +1 to my target number if I were to try to shoot him.
Let's just roll up there.
All right, cool.
All right, let's approach.
All right, so let's do the initiative roll again to see who goes first. Just trying to get that high number. 6.
8.
All right, I'm rolling.
Well-
I will let you go first again.
Ooh, all
With all
right.
these hold actions I have.
And so on the initiative, you're just looking for the single
That's
highest
one.
number.
This is the only roll we were trying to get a higher number.
Okay.
And they'll push. So if you had gotten a 6, it would go down to our second number and stuff like that.
Okay, that makes
so that
sense.
gives you a bonus for having just being the smarter person with that wit.
Yeah, your odds are higher of hitting it. Okay. Well, let's get a boar up there, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Sprint this boar.
All right, so that's going to move up to 10 inches with the 6.
Love that.
I mean, that
10.
might be within range. So I'm just going to try and.
Yeah, that's within 10.
Yeah.
So he can basically kind of like come.
Perfect.
Let's just bore on right there.
And I am going to then. This guy does have a shotgun, so I am going to shoot that boar with a shotgun.
Nah.
So now so you can use a different colored die. We have a malfunction dice that are like proprietary, but it's basically you have a different colored die for their. So he's going to do his shooting, which is 3 dice. Anytime you use an item, because everything will either made or you dug out of the ground or reverse engineered, there is that malfunction die that if I roll a 1 on it, it's gonna.
It's just
maybe
gonna not
explode.
work, right?
Yeah. And I didn't, and I'm sorry, I should explain what I needed. So I'm within 4 inches, so I actually needed 3s to hit.
Okay.
So there we go. And it's a power 5 then.
So the weapon has a power static.
And because it's the shotgun needs to be close to be power 5. This is a lot of dice for wreckage. So I need target number 4 to do damage to this board.
Okay, so once we actually get into combat rolling, we're looking for target numbers on each die.
On each die. And there's no armor on the board, so there's no like special thing. So what I've done here is kind of a terrible roll, but
it's good.
I've done 2 damage that you need to roll the power of your board. So their power is another trait that's their inherent toughness and strength.
Okay, so power here is 2.
Yep, so you're gonna roll 2 dice, your target number's 4 on that. Like I said, there's no special thing to the weapon either. And you mitigated nothing.
Mitigated nothing.
Every like mammal in this goes out of action, then dying, then dead. Sorry, wounded, out of action, dying, then dead.
Yep.
So he's now out of action. So I will put that down.
So I've gone from wounded here to out of action. So I marked 2 boxes because I took 2 damage.
Anything past wounded for the effect of this scenario is kind of academic. Like at the end of this, he's going to roll. You can roll another power check to see if he shrugs off one of those damage, goes back to wounded.
Cool.
But like dying and dead don't really matter because we're not playing a campaign.
Yeah.
There are damage, rolls where like, oh, he was dying, but you rolled and see if he does die, and he may like lose an eye, limb type situation, and that's. That will affect your line there. So
now, even if he's out of action, can I
still
detonate
try to explode
him?
And roll now on a 6, he explodes whether you want him to or not.
Right now?
Yeah. Right now.
Just because he took a shot? Because that shotgun may have clipped those explosives?
No, so it does not explode.
All right.
But he's just, a boar laying there right now that you can try to trigger.
Yeah. Seems good.
Yeah.
Now, if I run this other boar up, is that going to do twice the magic? Is there fireworks?
It gives you. You will roll twice in the damage, and like I said, you're rolling to see with this janky radio receiver, so it's a 50-50 chance. So it just doubles. It gives you that much more of a chance of it going off.
All right. So let's get this boar. Let's get another boar up here. Sprint him up.
So yeah, 14. That's good.
14.
The fast moving for that is going to be a factor when I shoot at him right now, which is what I'm going to do.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's fast moving. All
He's
right.
fast
So
moving, yeah.
other boar saw his friend dropped there, and he's going to sprint up to try to do the business.
He's avenging. So she's got a shooting of 3 as well. 3 is pretty much like for this like early type scenario is probably most like that's a high skill level.
Yeah.
You will see 4s and sometimes 5. That's pretty like Olympian at that point.
Yeah. And this is the sniper here taking the shot.
So
right?
she's gonna do 2 shots at that boar. So I have to declare them both. Neither one is gonna be aimed. So it's within. So short range for that is it's 12 inches. So she's within that.
Yeah.
He is behind cover. So it's usually a 4. Goes to a 5 for the cover. 6 for the fast moving.
Nice.
So I need 6s to hit. If
All
I had
right.
done an aim shot, just done 1, it would go back down to 5s. But I feel like 2 shots will do it. It does double the chance of me having a malfunction on my weapon, though. So.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So I hit on the first one, which is a good roll, and then
Great.
We'll see what happens here. So yeah, no malfunctions yet this game, but I did miss on the second one. So
I'm okay with that one.
She's got 4 as the power of the weapon. So it was 4s again across.
So that's
I've done 2
2
damage, and then you roll the 2 power for the board to try and mitigate. So you're not rolling very well.
No
for those.
mitigation.
No mitigation.
So this board is
it's out of
also
action as well. And we'll see on a 6 whether it explodes.
This was my plan all along.
Oh, all right. I think I just lost.
Hello. All right, so let's look at what this looks like.
If I had survived this round, then it would have been the victory for me. Because this is a 2-part.
It's a 2-round thing.
It's a 2-round thing. Usually you do about 4 or 5s, but this is so short. So.
Nice. Yeah, this makes sense. So out of action. This one explodes
It
after
explodes,
taking
and now
the sniper
we
shot.
see the 2 plus a d6 radius. Obviously, it's going to hit this guy, but
2 plus a d6. Okay.
all right. So that's up to 7 inches.
7 inches.
Yeah, I
Around.
think you got the tape measure in.
So this is essentially kind of like.
Oh yeah. Now
Everyone.
you roll 6 dice. Target number 3 on this guy because that's over twice his power to shrug it off.
Ooh.
So I'm probably paced. Like you're not even gonna be. You're probably not gonna scavenge my. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
that's 6.
That's 6. So the best I'm gonna get is down to dead. But so I did nothing. So he's off the board. You're not even gonna be able to scavenge his weapon.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
got
it
exploded.
is paced.
You got straight obliterated.
Yeah. And that takes care of those. This board is obviously off the table.
So
I mean, if you want to roll a damage on that board, we can too. But
Ultimately, what this looks like, though, is like, so this scenario already is very thematic, right?
That's what we were going for.
So I've got this beast handler back here, sends these boars up. You'd bring them down, but they manage to accomplish their objective, take the wall down. So now maybe some more forces can move in.
So the second, like I said, this is a three-parter. The second one, you have people here, just right off the bat, no barrier. I have to muster people by spending action points out of buildings.
Wow.
So like I'm already at a disadvantage for that. If I had rebuffed you, then there's a wall there, and my people are just right out in the middle.
That's really
and you're
cool.
at the table edge.
And so you're just playing scenario after scenario and kind of string the campaign
And we've got a
along.
couple that just cascade like that, and we've got ones that are just one-offs too that you can just put into a campaign.
So tell me about what's the product line for Wreckage right now?
It's actually pretty robust. So we've got I don't know if you guys have hit our vendor hall booth. But we just rounded 200 minis.
Wow.
So yeah, some of them, like some of the earlier ones, aren't still in production, but I think we have 120 in production right now.
That's insane. And what's the future of Wreckage look like?
So yeah, like I said, we got the Kickstarter vehicle, which is going great. We are rounding third on that. We still have like 25 days left, and we're at 9,000, so that's happy.
Great.
And we've got some RPG modules that are coming out right before Gen Con. Like we kind of got we just got 3 new faction boxes that came out, like the new Arc, which is a very militaristic faction.
Yeah.
Just came out. It's been pretty gangbusters.
Wicked, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, tell me, one thing I like to ask people is, if you were going to tell me what do you like most about this game, especially you as not the rules guy, what do you like most about Wreckage?
Like my favorite fluff thing?
Yeah.
So we've got a faction called the Stitchers, who are they're remnants from the medical industry. So people can now, like a life expectancy in the next 100 years is going to go up to like 120. So they've got that technology, but they don't really have the means to like do it ethically anymore.
Yeah.
So they're kind of body snatchers. Like almost all of their weapons are non-lethal because they don't want to damage the goods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this scenario didn't really showcase like the weird, creepy science fiction stuff that we have going on.
Yeah.
So now that we have a more fleshed out, now that we have a more fleshed out model line, we've got our baseline models, we've got the ones you absolutely need. Now we're doing stuff like capybara handlers. We've got a drifter lady who's got a baby strapped to her back. Just like we can go kind of gonzo now.
Yeah. So you're just fleshing it out.
Yeah, just weird niche things now. So if someone has an idea for this is just a bizarre miniature, and we laugh about it and think it's great, we put it into production.
Cool.
That's what I like to be able to do as like an indie, just kind of pivot.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks,
this
man.
is Wreckage. Check this out. 120 minis, you said?
Yep, we got 120 minis.
And an incredible universe. Truly one of the cooler ways we've seen this kind of post-apocalyptic actually feel like you want it to feel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So
I love your guys' videos, so it's
excellent.
a pleasure for me.
Well, thanks, Matt. Thanks for watching, guys. We got more coming from Adepticon, so keep it locked.